Hello, everybody. Alchemists, welcome or welcome back. My name is Ava, aka Queen Midas Life Alchemist, and I'm here with my beautiful co-host, Liz. How are you, Liz?
Kid, I'm like, I don't know what to do with my hands. It's like, I'm good. How are
Oh,
you?
so funny. I'm good. I'll be honest, today's been kind of rough with, with more insecurities and triggers coming up. By the way, y'all, we're here for another episode of Freeing the Feminine. This is relationships part 3, and we're going to be discussing compartmentalization and authenticity in relationships and all areas of our lives. But back to today. So I just had a lot come up that like reached a climax today around personal security, stability, provision, just, and it's really deep rooted stuff that just kept nagging at me for like the past week or 2 weeks or something. And today was just like the boiling point. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but it's good because the fact that it came up means it's ready to be healed and transmuted and for the cycle to be broken and for breakthroughs. So,
Right. Fast track that healing.
yes, yes.
That's what we're all on these days. It seems like the fast track to get rid of the crap.
Right. It's like spirit's like, it's time to deal with this, girl. Come on, quit running.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking on compartmentalization, I found a quote in Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Um, and it's on page 164, and it's actually in the section about commitment in the relationship section. And it says commitment in a relationship means commitment to the process of mutual understanding and forgiveness, no matter how many conversations it takes, nor how uncomfortable those conversations might sometimes be. And I felt like that was just a relevant quote to start out today with, because this is about relationships and about being able to feel like we can be our full and complete self and express ourselves fully in everything. So with compartmentalization, I kind of want to talk about what happened about a month ago between us, where when I went to a birthday party and I was like having like a freak out moment, kind of.
Oh, wait. Because
And I was like, I don't know
you
what
didn't
to
want to
call
tell
it.
me?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Because it was
That was funny.
okay, you all. So I think well, Liz and I have both talked about this, how we've had experienced situations in our lives where we have felt like we've only been able to talk about this with this friend and this with that friend and be this at this place and da da da, you know, like just only giving pieces of ourselves in different areas of our lives. Like work, I'm this person; church, I'm this person. You know, these are my club friends. Like, you know.
Yeah.
So that's kind of that. If you don't know what compartmentalization is, that's what that means. Or even like
Like just
trauma.
putting people in boxes,
Yeah.
literally.
Or even compartmentalizing trauma and like putting it back on the back burner and showing a different side of yourself. Anyway, so so the first time I went out in Dallas when I got back, I ended up getting approached by this guy. And we went on a couple of dates after that. And I was like really quiet about it because I was like, oh, I'm like really not trying to be dating. Like I really just want to be focused and I just want to take care of myself. Anyway, so he ended up inviting me out to his birthday, like get together with all his friends, and it starts out at this brewery and then it ends up at another one, and we're like going all around the town, whatever. So we get to the second place, and oh, actually on the way there, I was watching one of Liz's polos, and then I polo her back and I'm talking to her and I'm trying to like just be by myself in the Uber. And then he like peeks into
Yeah. I'm
he's like, hi. And Liz was
Well,
like,
first of all, I thought you knew him for a while. I thought that it was just like an old friend or something.
no, he was just like real for sure about me and was like, you
Mm,
gonna meet my friends and you're coming to my birthday. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I'm just gonna go along with this because I feel like I need to be having fun because I didn't have fun for like the past year. And I felt like it was really necessary for me to just have that, like feel that.
mm.
Anyway, so he peeks in and Liz is all like, who dat?
Like, do you know him? Is he like an old friend? Like,
I'm like, no, he's just met him the first time we went out like 3 weeks ago.
yeah.
Anyway, so by the time we got to the second brewery, I'm sitting there and I just started to feel like the walls were closing in on me. And I was actually on the way to it, I was feeling so anxious. And I was like, I don't know what's wrong. Like I had one drink at the last place. Like it wasn't even about alcohol. And I was just like, it wasn't about that I didn't know anybody other than him. I was just like, what is going on? Why am I feeling somebody else? Like what? And anyway, long story short, I polo Liz again, because I'm just literally trying not to throw up. I felt so sick. And I was like, I'm texting her and I'm like, I think I'm gonna cry. I don't know what's wrong. And da, 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 da. And she's like, girl, if you're feeling that anxious, leave. She's like, you need to run now.
I'm like, you just met this dude. Like, who is he? Like, you're feeling that bad about it. And yeah,
But the
like
thing is,
during this time, I'm like not. I'm completely unbothered by the situation, and she's like over here freaking out.
no idea what's going on. I'm like, why am I feeling sick? What is going on? Like, I'm about to lose it. And so message her, I'm texting her, and then I go around the corner and I polo her. And I realize like after I don't remember exactly what all it is that I had like disclosed to her, but after that, I realized that it was because I had been like keeping that a secret kind of
Yeah,
from her. And I
yeah,
felt really, really guilty about it because I was like, number one, I'm not used to having a friend that is like so authentic. I can talk to about anything. Like we're very just straightforward with each other about things, and like we help each other and talk each other through so much. But for some reason, and I think it was the reason that I had like literally just got back in Dallas. Like, mind you, yes, I just got out of that situation I was in, but emotionally and everything that had already been like completed, like beginning of January of this year. So it's like, but I was just still in the situation physically, but everything else was just like,
yeah.
it's like I'm just like waiting for my exit point.
Mhm.
So I was feeling like shame around that and like embarrassment because like I'm like, what are people gonna think? Because I'm already out having fun with people and what da da da, and I just got in town and like I'm creating this whole like story cascade in my mind about like why she's gonna be mad at me for you know?
I'm just like, what are you doing?
And she thought that I was feeling anxious because I was feeling like scared or uncomfortable about him. And it
Yeah,
wasn't even that. Like I feel nothing, uh, no threats or anything around him. It was the fact that I was feeling guilty for not being honest about it with Liz, and she's like my sister. And as soon as like we had those conversations and I apologized because I was like, I really just want to cry right now. And I'm out with people I've never met before. So I'm like, don't be that crazy that shows up and is in the corner crying.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, but and well, after I told Liz that, I was fine. And I
Yeah,
was like, whoa. I've
Yeah.
never experienced that before where it's like I felt so backed into a corner because I wasn't being authentic and I was trying to like close off this part of myself from a friendship, from a close friendship. And I love that because I honestly feel like that was almost like a spiritual guard and like keeping our relationship pure because of how
Mhm.
important it is and how like strongly we're connected.
Mhm.
And I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just speaking from my
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Um, yeah, that was wild. I was like, I have to talk about this in a video.
Yeah. Yeah, that was funny because I was like, girl, I'm not entitled to anything about your life. If you want to share it with me, go for it. Like, but if not, it's fine. Like, I was like, I don't know why you feel so intensely about this.
I don't know. I don't know. I think I don't know.
Which is just kind of funny because I think I told you during the scenario that so
Mhm.
many times in my life, um, it's almost like I'm like people's conscience. They don't want to tell me. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, I've like never been like a super like judgy person. Like if someone's doing something, it's it's literally like I have a standard for myself, and then people think that I have that standard for other people, and I don't. Like that's my standard, not yours. I don't expect you to do that.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like been like that my whole life. Even as a teenager, I had friends that would keep stuff from me, and it wasn't even like I never reacted when they just told me stuff. But they would just like it was like I was like their conscience. Like, and it like proceeded. I went to film school, and the same thing happened. People didn't want to tell me when they like slept around with someone or like got high or whatever. Like, and I was like, I know you're doing it. I don't understand why this is such a why don't you want to tell me specifically? Like, I'll be like, cool, okay, like whatever. You know,
It's so funny talking about it now. It's so funny to me. But
yeah, yeah, but that's it's yeah. I've had a lot of people do it to me, and then I've done it to a lot of people also. I
mhm.
mean, still to this day, like I have so many friends in real life that have no idea what I do, like on YouTube, like what I talk about. And and some of that is just because a lot of the stuff I talk about they're not really like ready to hear in a
Mhm.
sense. Like it's just gonna fall to deaf ears, and I can kind of understand that. So that's a lot of reasons why I do it. But like at the same time, it's like even being in like the truther movement or whatever. I have a friend that's actually I've known her my most of my life, like since my childhood, and I know she is not in any kind of way like a Mr. T supporter. I don't know if we can say that on YouTube these days. No idea.
Who knows?
A Mr. T supporter. She like is totally like brainwashed by a lot of media stuff, but at the same time, she's kind of awake, like in a health way. But
Mhm.
like you could talk about this thing, and she'd be all like, she's all anti that, but she's not politically or anything. And I know that about her. And so I've never told her anything, I believe. We've never talked about it. And then she found out, or she was like, who are you who do you work for? Like, who do you do these videos for? Like, I was like, I'm not gonna tell you the name. And she was like, what? What? Like she was so offended that I was like, she's like, I feel like I know you, but now I don't. I was like, yeah, you don't know a part of me, that's for sure. And
Mm.
and then after I like posted a picture of me and Charlie on Instagram, and she was like, I looked up that guy. And she just like gave me this like really weird, like kind of like face. And I was like, yeah, you probably found some pretty interesting things about it. Because I mean, a lot of people love Charlie, but a lot of people don't.
Mhm.
And and I'm sure she found all kinds of stuff. Um, but she just kind of gave me a look, and like that was that. And I was like, yeah, he, you know, a lot of people love him, a lot of people don't. It's kind of what I said. And she just kind of was like, she didn't, I don't think she looked into it that deeply, but I was just like, I just didn't think you'd understand, quite honestly, or like talk me out of it or whatever, when I know it's like right for me. I just didn't even want to have that conversation.
Yeah.
But even like that is an issue in of itself, like of not wanting to be known fully
Mhm.
by the people that I know and am friends with, even family. I don't think most of my family know that I have this YouTube channel. And I don't promote myself to my friends or family ever. I much
Mhm.
rather promote myself to complete strangers.
Yeah.
And I'm working on it in a lot of ways. I'm a lot less afraid to be seen in all facets these days. But still very much a work in progress, because I don't know up until my marriage really, and that's even a work in progress of being fully known and fully loved. I never ever experienced that with anybody. It was like, well, if you do this, you're bad, and we
Yeah.
can't. It was, you know, that very like religious trauma kind of crap. Like, if you don't fit in this box, then we don't know what to do with you, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
And I never really felt like I ever fit in any kind of box. So I was just like, you know what? It's just easier to just not tell people the things that I know that they're not going to understand, or
Right.
that they're going to like berate me with questions about. I'm just like, part of it's like saving my energy, but part of it's like, I don't trust you to know me. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, at all.
So with okay. So now I wrote down, when is it's compartmentalization, but then there's also like a boundaries component to it as well. Like in that situation, because I totally agree with you. I don't talk about my channel to my family or my friends who don't know,
Yeah.
who I know are not on the level, or not even necessarily friends, but the people that I know who are just like, they're not going to understand.
Yeah.
It's so much easier to talk to people who don't know us about this. So in my mind, that's like a boundaries thing. And I feel like maybe there's situations where it's healthy to compartmentalize, and
Yeah.
those almost are like interchangeable type.
Mm.
It almost feels interchangeable in that aspect.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like
I
a
think
healthy
of
versus
even,
an unhealthy compartmentalization.
yeah, I think of even with like, you know, children, like there are things that children do not need to know yet. They just don't. Like, you know, there are things I'm not going to be telling my son until he is a certain age, you know. Um, and that in of itself is protecting him, and also just meeting him where he's at, you
Yeah.
know. And I think, like you said, like that's the healthy side to it. But I even think about how when I used to, because I haven't in a while, when I would sing, like perform in front of people, I would much, much rather perform in front of a large audience of people I do not know than like a small, intimate crowd of people. Because it's very intimate and it's a compartmentalization could also be masked as a fear of intimacy, which I definitely have had for most of my life. And of course, it all stems from childhood. It all stems from the way you were raised, and if you were able to be seen in all states and accepted in all states and all emotions, or if you were just told to shut up and stop crying. You
Yeah,
know,
seriously.
um, it's like it's like when my son, my husband's very much like, stop crying, you're fine, you're fine. I'm like, stop telling him stop to cry.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then he'll like repeat back to me, like Levi will repeat back to me, you know, don't cry, stop crying. And I'm like, no, you can cry, you can cry all you want. You can't hurt anybody when you're sad or angry, but you can cry. like, like I try to like, I don't know, it might end up confusing him later in life, but at least I tried to like give him the other perspective of no, it's actually okay to cry. Like, yeah, you
Especially as a
are,
boy.
yeah, you are a boy, but you can cry if you need to. It's
Mhm.
okay. Like, and you can be loud and upset if you need to, but you can't hurt anyone. You know, it's okay to be angry, but you can't slap me, you know, um, and stuff like that. Like I try to tell him that, but because like I feel like for me, I never was told to stop crying, I don't think. Maybe I was. Um, like I feel like emotions were like almost exaggerated in my household because we were
Mhm.
very dramatic. um, and my parents were very dramatic, but they couldn't deal with our emotions. Their emotions were dramatic. But then when we had emotions, it was kind of like they don't matter, you know. Um, it was always, I need you to stop crying. I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
but what about what I need? Maybe I need to cry, you
Yeah.
know? And I even catch myself saying that to Levi all the time. I'm like, I need you to stop right now. I need you to stop crying. I need you to calm down. And I'm like, but this is not about what I need. Like I have to like completely change the narrative in my head, basically.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it comes from that place of when you're a child, if your needs are not met emotionally, in the sense that you're accepted in all forms, you learn I can be this way with dad,
Yeah.
but I have to be a different way with mom. Or I can be this way with my friends, but I have to be a different way with my siblings.
Mhm.
Or, that kind of puzzle piecing.
Yeah, and I'm definitely still guilty of the compartmentalizing in my family situation because I totally do not feel like I can be myself
Mhm.
now. Because they're still very religious and like the stuff they want to talk about, I'm like, I have zero interest in talking
Mhm.
about or hearing about, or it's just like stuff that literally doesn't matter, like something that was on the news or complaining about the traffic or just like stuff that I'm like, we on this right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
um
My dad watches the news like every single day, twice,
yeah,
3 times a day.
mine too.
And he'll tell me things and I'm like, just keep my mouth shut and just nod and like, okay. Like sometimes I'll like venture into, why that doesn't make sense.
God.
And then it's funny because he'll be like, yeah, it doesn't. And he'll like continue on the conversation. But then the next day it's like we never had the conversation.
Yeah.
And I was like, where did that go? Like, where did that thought process go? Because you didn't take it any further.
Mhm.
You're obviously not thinking about it now when we had the conversation about the similar thing last time. Like, you know, or the other day. It's just, yeah, it's yeah, we kind of like my immediate family was always the black sheep of my extended family because my extended family is very Southern Baptist. And I even posted something on Instagram, I think it was 2 days ago, that said, you're as children, you're not responsible for your parents' happiness.
Mhm.
And my aunt responded and she's like, not now, but it says in the Bible that you're supposed to take care of your elderly parents. And I was like, yeah, but I think this is more so talking about emotionally, not physically.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm all for taking care of elderly parents, like when they obviously can't take care of themselves. Like, of course, like I'm not gonna put them in a nursing home, but like, uh, I was like, to the happiness part, like it literally
Yeah.
said happiness, not
Mhm.
physical state or whatever. But she came and Bible thumped me, and I was like, and then I said I thought that it was an emotional thing, not a physical thing, and she didn't respond back to it. So I was like, maybe she understood that. Maybe she realized that she was just, it's like any chance you get, any chance they get to kind of like throw Bible in my face and like,
Mhm.
God.
That or she was just like sinner.
Yeah. Well, what's actually funny is she doesn't like, she looks up to me a lot. Like she's told me, she's like, I'm just so impressed by what a wise and smart woman you've become. And I was like, thank you. Like it was just because I like the past couple of years I've just started to become really silent. Like I'll just sit at the table when they're like bickering and like whatnot, and I'm just silent. Like and like and then her daughter, my cousin, really looks up to me and like will ask me these really deep theological questions. And like I think the last time she like interacted with me was sometime in the summer when we were over there, and she asked me what was the something like the greatest carnal sin or something, of like denouncing Jesus and like all this stuff. And I was like, I've never heard of that. Like, I literally was just like, I was just telling her what I knew, and you can see her like mind exploding. And she's like very like, she's like 20, like I think she just turned 20, 22 maybe, I don't know. But you can see her little mind exploding and being like, I never thought about it. And like I talked to her about like crystals and like, and she loves that stuff, but like it's been demonized in her family. And and I'll talk to her about crystals and like all that kind of stuff. And she's like, she's so confused by me because she knows that I like have a relationship with God, but also like crystals.
Mhm.
Like,
Like it's okay to do both.
I'm like, God created them. Hello. Like
Exactly.
God created the earth too. It has an energetic frequency. We're not like shunning the earth because new agey people use it. Like, my God. Anyways, tangent. Um, but yeah, I feel like a lot of it is a lot of it for me is like an intimacy issue. Um, because even with Johnny, there's things that I would up until like it like gave birth in front of him. It's kind of like I didn't feel like you really knew me or know me or anything, but now I do. But I
Yeah.
mean, we've been married almost 7 years now, and that's like a completion cycle and whatnot. But um, there are things that I know that I used to hide from him about myself, and I don't anymore, which is nice. And because I don't feel like he's gonna leave,
Yeah.
and that was a huge thing for me also.
Yeah.
Trying to keep people around and being afraid of who I was, and that it would scare them away.
Yeah. Being afraid of being found out. Like,
Mm.
I actually brought that up with my talk on what is hell with Joel, where we were talking about ego, and we put on masks and everything because ultimately we're afraid of being found out,
Yeah.
one thing or another, and it's so crazy. That's why it's just like there's in order to be like fully authentic, we have to take those off and get back to the purity of who we really are. And
Yeah.
that's one reason why we're talking about this, because I'm sure like everybody, I would say it'd be safe to say everybody does this in one way or another. And it's like we have to stop hiding because we're
Yeah.
not that means we're not loving ourselves enough and feeling free enough to express who we are, and who we are is individually beautiful, and special. So I
I
want,
mean, sorry.
go ahead.
I was just saying, in a lot of ways, like the society, the Western world that we are in has created this. Whether it's like you said, like church life, work life. Like, I mean, I hear people talk all the time about customer service voice,
Oh yeah.
like that's not how you talk.
Yeah.
And in like, who they are at church, who they are with their friends, like their best friends or their family or whatever. It's like it's very accepted to not to be a billion different people. And then we have social media where you could literally be anyone you wanted, like, and portray your life in any kind of way, and set up this whole illusion for everyone watching you. I had a friend tell me that, like, she was like, you look like you have it all together all the time. And I was like, well, then I'm not being authentic enough.
Right, yeah.
With you for sure, because I definitely don't. Because it like threw me back really far. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I literally was like crying and screaming at my child the other day, like, not proud of it, but I was, you know. I mean, not everything has to be shared with everyone, but like at the same time, I was just like shocked. I was shocked that that's how she saw me. Because she was like thinking about her life and how she felt like everything was falling apart. And then she was like, you just seem like you have it all together. And I'm like, you're comparing your life to mine? What?
Yeah.
It,
Isn't that interesting though? And it goes to show that we are so hard on ourselves, and we have so much compassion toward other people and love toward other people easier than we do toward ourselves.
It's true.
And from the outside, people are like, oh my gosh, like she can do no wrong. Like she's got it together.
Just come take a peek in my house when I haven't slept and my toddler is screaming at me and throwing his 10th tantrum of the day. Just take a peek. My goodness.
That's life is just so funny, and especially relationships. Okay, so I thought of a question of how can compartmentalization damage, stunt, or hinder our relationships, and also our own personal growth. So that's kind of like breaking it into two places. So obviously with relationships, there's the whole like being vulnerable or not, like feeling like we can be vulnerable with someone, and it's like, okay, I will to this certain point, and then you don't get any more of that from me.
Right.
And then I feel like there's also like trust issues that go into it, whether like depending on what somebody has been through in their life, and they're carrying that baggage into another relationship, which is another reason why it's so important for us to deal with our triggers and the things and our insecurities that come up for time to be healed, with the purpose of being healed, so that we don't carry those things into our other relationships, and we're able to have healthier relationships going forward, no matter what the relationship is.
Yeah. What
do you think? How can that compartmentalization damage, stunt, or hinder relationships?
I mean, in a lot of ways, definitely. I mean, I could really only ever take my experiences as an example, but I just know that when people have hidden stuff from me, like in the sense of like not wanting to tell me, like not specifically yours, but like when I was younger, I was like, why? Like, what did I do? Like, do you really see me as this like judgmental like person that's like gonna think less of you because you did that or didn't do this or whatever? Like, I remember that being like a huge shock when like multiple people, my friends in LA, when I went to film school, like hid things from me. Like one of my best friends did. And I was just like, why am I not safe to you? Like, it made me really sad. I was like, why have I not created a safe space for you to tell me that? Or like, why has this narrative built up in your mind about me that I'm going to, condemn you to hell, basically, because you slept with someone? Like, I don't, like, and like I said, it was just because it was their issue, not mine. It was because they knew that I had a standard, and thought that that was like across the board what I expected everyone to do. And I'm like, I came to film school, I came to LA. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And so in that kind of way, it damaged our friendship because I knew that something was being hidden in the sense of like them just not feeling free enough to tell me.
Mhm.
But and then when I've kept stuff from other people, it's done the same thing. And it's almost like a ding on someone's character, like like that you're not sure, you don't deem them trustworthy enough to show every part of you to them. Especially when they like share really like deep intimate things with you and then you're not doing the same.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they think you are but you're not. And yeah, I mean when I've done it with other people, it really does just hinder intimacy and connection. Like that's really what it does. Like the bond that was there is almost broken in a sense, like that, you just can't be completely known by them. They're not allowing you to. Um, and like, I mean, there are things that, like when, like, for instance, when I have been like deemed a lot of like really personal information from people, it's a huge responsibility. I remember my husband told me something that he literally had told no one since it happened for like 10 years. Like he had not told a single soul. And it brought us so much closer. The fact that he did, and he opened up and he cried about it. And I was the only person that ever was told about it, like not anyone else. and and he just like bawled, like we were on the phone because at that time we were long distance, and he just bawled his eyes out, and I never heard him cry before. And he hadn't told me, he'd never told anybody that before. And it created this intimacy between us where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm literally a safe space for him. That's a responsibility. And so it kind of opened a door for me to share things like that with him, for him to be a safe space for me. It just creates this level of intimacy, which we're all supposed to have. I mean, definitely not supposed to have it with everyone, but the select few for sure. And that's based off your own discernment and stuff, but it definitely can cause serious like rips. And at the same time, it's almost like if you can't trust someone with everything, maybe they're not quality friendships for you in general, or relationships. If you feel like you have to hide yourself, maybe that's not where you're supposed to be going. I'm all for having friends and acquaintances and whatnot, but me and Ava were kind of talking about this, like we're just kind of tired of like almost like having mediocre friendships,
like the fair weather.
Yeah, like I don't need someone I can have fun with anymore. Like at this stage of my life, like I need someone that I can like work through things with and like, help discover what I need to heal and grow, and like the different facets of this experience, and trying to work through things. Like I don't need the small talk anymore. Maybe I did when I was younger, I guess. But like you and Tanya said in your video last night, like, you grow and evolve with people, and some people come with you and some people don't. And Yahweh, Yeshua, Jesus had 12, but he really had 3. Like he had 12 disciples, but he was only close to 2 or 3 of them. And I think that's definitely a depiction of what kind of, quality over quantity.
For
sure.
Totally. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but how does it damage or hinder personal growth? Um,
Mm.
I'll say for like one of our conversations earlier today, where or actually a few of our conversations that we've had where I felt like I needed to hide things about myself, or like I couldn't, not like with you, but just like where I didn't feel like I was starting to feel unworthy in my own insecurities were causing me to like shut myself off to other people.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, and it seems like compartmentalization essentially could be, it's kind of like because of projected insecurities or preconceived notions that like, okay, it's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah. It's
So
fear.
which fear,
False
yeah.
reality appearing real.
Yes. And then that's if obviously if we're in fear mode, we're not going to be open to um really addressing the issue that we're having. And then we're just gonna stay in our ego and be like, because ego wants to protect. It doesn't want to actually seek and heal.
Mhm.
So I totally think that that would stunt growth. However, if we're doing it from the boundary standpoint, I feel like that's a healthy way to protect our healing in a sense, you know.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, that's true. Cause there's so many times, like, I feel like my awakening journey kind of started in the religious way,
mhm,
um, back in like 2011 or 12. And I remember telling people in my like church, my church friends and stuff, things that I was learning, and just it falling to deaf ears, like their faces were blank or like just so confused and like, you know, and it really, it really like discouraged me in a lot of ways because I was like, you're not seeing this? Like, how do you not, you know, kind of like how a lot of people are with the awakening happening now, with everything. Like, you know, if you tell people certain things and they're not ready to hear it, all it does is kind of cause chaos and destruction, like for both of you, because you're confusing them and then you're discouraging you from the journey and the path that you're going. And so learning to speak the truth of those things to people that are obviously ready to hear it and asking to hear it, is a form of compartmentalization, but it's also discernment and wisdom. um, you know, to know when people are ready and to know when they're actually like wanting that type of conversation or not. You know, I don't talk to my dad the way I talk to Ava. Like I don't at all. um, I don't talk to my oldest sister the way I talk to Ava, you know, because she's not ready to have those type of conversations. And, you know, I compartmentalize her in that way because I'm keeping myself safe at the same time from being discouraged and, you know, releasing things that are not ready to be released yet, I
yeah.
guess. Um, you know, I even sometimes will do the same thing on YouTube in a sense, like, especially in the beginning of my channel, I would just kind of like say things in a roundabout broad way to just kind of see where the people watching me were at, because I just didn't like to gauge. I just didn't know. Because I just definitely didn't want to have a whole bunch of trolls in my comments, like telling me, Bible thumping me, telling me I was wrong or my theology was off or whatever. You know, but yeah, it can be a place to protect yourself and hold those boundaries. Um, because you know where your journey is worth protecting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So cool. I think that is like wraps up compartmentalization. So I think we should talk about authenticity and just shift to that, and what it means to actually be authentic.
Mm, yeah.
What is your take on that?
Um, I mean, it's like authenticity is vulnerability to me. Um, and I personally love being vulnerable for the most part. Like I love the release of it. I hate holding things into my like in to myself. Um, which is why like I'm not afraid to cry on my YouTube videos, and I share a lot about my life um and I feel like it comes from a family of oversharing. Like
Mhm.
there's no such thing as TMI in my family, my like immediate family. Um, there's no such thing as TMI. That's kind of what happens when you grow up with all women in a house. Like you just get used to talking about things and you're like, oh, people don't talk about this with each other. Oh. um, there's no such thing as TMI. Like I don't get grossed out by anything. I don't, you know, feel like anyone's oversharing anything with me ever. And I don't feel like I ever am oversharing anything with anyone else. Um, because I feel like there is so much, it just feels like stupidity to me about like just trying to be perceived in a way that's not authentically you.
Yeah.
And I'm just over it. Like I've been over it my entire life because I'm just like, this is just how I am. This is the way it is. Like, yeah, there's like masks that I've worn at times in my life. When I was like afraid to be me or whatever. But um I I mean, authenticity is very, it's just not apologizing for who you are. And there are degrees or where you're at in life or whatever. Um, like I said, I mean, not everything's meant to be shared with everyone, but at the same time, when you're vulnerable and when you're authentic, you're in much more of a place of power than when you're trying to hide and when you feel shame about something. Um, like I feel like the opposite of authenticity and vulnerability is shame. And and so almost like to combat the shame, like being authentic is your place of power. Um, because if you feel like you need to hide something, you're not in a place of power. um, and so yeah, I love I love being authentic as much as I can be for the most part, even when it's hard. Um, it's like a good hard. It's like it's one of those like this is necessary. Like it's hard, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yeah. She's
Um,
taking notes.
yeah.
I can see her like computer moving a little bit.
Oh. Oops. Yeah, that was really good. And you touched on how like everybody doesn't need to know everything, like there's degrees of it. That's totally, I was gonna ask about that because I agree with that too. Like people don't have to know every single little detail of your life, but I still feel like there's ways to tactfully be unapologetically you for
Yeah.
anybody.
I say
Um,
that if it's about someone else, it doesn't need to go to everyone unless they want it to. Like if
mhm,
it involves someone else. But then if it's just a personal you thing, like that's up to your discretion.
mhm.
Um, I feel like the more people share and are real about their life and their struggles and whatnot, the less alone we all feel.
Yeah. Right, because it's like, oh, that person's going through that too, or they've experienced that too. Wow, that's something I have been holding down, but now I feel like I can relate. So there is a woman who, she has a channel on YouTube, and she ends all of her videos with, when you stand in your authenticity, you give other people the power to do the same.
That's that quote. What is that? That quote that I used to live by, and I can't even remember it. It's like we ask ourselves, who am I to be? There's more to it, but it's the part I can remember right now. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? We were born to make manifest of the glory of God that is within us, and as we let our own light shine, we encourage, or we give permission to others to do the same.
Mhm.
And,
I'm like, dang girl, that's a lot of words. Hey.
no, there's more to it. That's only half of it. Yeah, gosh, it was in the movie Aquila and the Bee. It's a famous quote, and
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna look it up, but because I've thought about it, it's been brought up a few times in the last couple of months. I don't even know how to spell Aquila.
I don't know. That's an old movie. I forgot all about that.
And the Bee quote.
Okay, the woman's channel is Chloe Taylor. She's a reader. Kloee.
Ready for this? Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are more powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous. Actually, who are you not to be? Oh, this is not the version I want. But you were born to make notice of the glory of God that is within you, and as you let your own light shine, you unconsciously give other people permission to do the same.
Mhm.
That used to be my favorite quote of all time, because it's so true. It's like we're actually just scared of our own power.
Yeah.
We're terrified of it.
Mhm.
And you know, as we start to be more authentic and actually who we really are, and kind of like I was saying to you before we recorded, like I just got tired of not being who I'm supposed to be. and I can't tell you how many people have told me that that I have inspired them to do this or that or whatever, and I'm like, that's amazing, because I wasn't trying to. You know, like, thank you. You know, that's like the greatest compliment to me, is like that I can inspire anyone to do anything that they feel like they couldn't do before.
Yeah.
But
Um,
what were you gonna say about authenticity?
oh, after you read that quote, you were saying something, and I swear I heard the first half of that like a week or two ago.
That's
It
funny.
sounded really familiar. Yeah, or I read it somewhere, but I do remember the part about like us being afraid of our own light and our own power.
Yeah.
That's all I was gonna say about that.
I painted that quote on my bedroom walls
Wow,
as a teenager. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Real profound for me.
Well, you've really stepped into it too, which is awesome. So it's almost like having like a mantra on your wall every day.
Yeah. I mean, my mom was great in that aspect. She let me do whatever I wanted to my room. And I had murals of quotes and basically manifestations and all kinds of stuff like that, like painted on my walls. It was lovely.
That's awesome. I think that's about all I have. That was a really good conversation, and I think a lot of valuable points were made too that people can really like use to assess their own lives and where they can find healing and freedom. And I would actually love to challenge, the viewers and subscribers and whoever's watching this to find whatever it is that you feel like you might be hiding from the world or from someone, and see if there's like one little bit that you can like expose yourself, a way that you can expose yourself and experience freedom. Because really, um I feel like we incarnate here to become free, to
Mhm.
free our souls more, to evolve, to become who we truly are supposed to be, and why not start today and
Yeah.
do a little bit more every day,
Yeah.
however that might be.
And doing things that scare you is like the greatest power move ever.
Mhm.
I mean, if you're like really in a place where you feel like a victim, or, you know, like do the opposite. Like whatever is the opposite of uh the place that you're feeling powerless in, whether it's like sharing yourself fully with someone, or, you know, singing a song in front of people or whatever, like go to karaoke, go sing a song, kind of like just do the opposite.
Mhm.
Um, because it is very much like that ego type of thing of, I don't think the ego is altogether bad. The ego is there to protect you.
Mhm.
That's what it is. It's a protector, but it's also a protector that keeps you in a comfort zone. Because that's its job. And the more you push the limits and push the boundaries, the quieter it gets.
Mhm.
It starts to shut up after a while. Um, and then you feel like you kind of can accomplish anything because you're not living out of the place of fear and the I have to protect myself kind of place.
Yeah.
And moving into, nope, I'm okay. I'm protected no matter what I do, no matter what decision I make, even if I make a bad one or a did go too far with something, like you're still protected. Um, I don't know why I felt like I needed to say that, but um, I think it's very prevalent right now. Because I think that's kind of the gist of everything that people are feeling, like this whole like kind of hyperdrive of healing is we have to we have to shut this ego crap up
Mhm.
and honor it for what it is, like thank you for protecting me, but you're not serving me.
Yeah.
Like, and you need to be quiet so that I can be exactly who I'm supposed to be, um and live the life that I was created to live.
Mhm.
um so yeah, do the opposite.
Yeah. And when you were actually talking at first, I wrote down the world is not out to get us, we're out to get the world. So
Mm,
that
yeah.
can be something that we keep in our minds. Like,
Yeah.
we're not out to, the world's not out to get us. We're fine. We're here to conquer this thing. So,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's definitely something that I'm shifting through hardcore right now. And I'm sure a lot of other of you all are too. So just be gentle and patient and compassionate with yourselves and others, because we are all literally,
Yeah.
we're all in this together, and we're all learning and growing and shifting and transforming and breaking, shedding things. So
Break
what,
all these cycles.
yeah.
That song has come up in my head so many times in plenty of our conversations.
I actually thought about it last week because I
Yeah.
thought of I
Break
thought of
all
you
these
singing it.
cycles.
Yes. So funny. Okay, do you have anything else to say?
I don't think so.
Okay, I totally forgot to talk about my Patreon at the beginning, but
Oh,
um,
you know, Jesus, stick around to the end.
yeah, yeah.
They'll be your Patreons anyway.
Yeah, I know. You all, I started a Patreon, and I'm really excited about it. The top layer, or the level 3 alchemist, is the coaching level, and that is where you would actually get one-on-one time with me. We would kind of discuss where you're at, talk about intention setting. You get personalized affirmations, You get discounts at Liz shop and Dory's Soulstone Organites, and that's really awesome because they're my partner shops here, and my all of the tiers get discounts there. They're 15% off, so I'm really excited about that. So thank you, Liz. And there's a monthly newsletter as well as discounts on personal tarot reads, bi-weekly live chat readings, and what else? Oh, with the coaching tier, we also have an end of month 30-minute Zoom where we would kind of wrap up the month and see what progress was made, where we need to adjust goals, and then look forward to the next month. So again, with the coaching tier, it's more one-on-one time with me and more like we're going to get down to business. So I'm really excited about that because I love to do that with people, and I've done it with myself. And yeah.
Everybody go sign up.
Yeah, so I'm gonna drop the link in the description box below, and also all of Liz's stuff is gonna be down below. Her information is gonna be down below, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe to both of our channels if you resonate with our content, and comment in the boxes. Comment down below if there's something that you want us to talk about more in these freeing the feminine chats, or even just in another chat too. Yeah, that's all I got.
And there is merch on the way.
Oh yeah, merch on the way.
On the way to us specifically, but on the way to y'all too.
Merch.
Yeah, we figured since this is going to be since this is our like main series, mine as well. It seems to be resonating with a lot of people, and yeah, why not? I have a shirt. I have a t-shirt shop. So why not?
Yeah,
Like Mary. Oh, go get Mary's merch too, guys. She just came out with t-shirts, and they're really cute. I really want to get one.
it's like a moon. It's so cute.
So cute. I
Yeah.
want to know who designed it. It's adorable.
Yeah.
And she's been a huge supporter of my shop. Like she has, I think, almost all of my shirts in my phone, in a phone case now. I'm just like,
That's so
good gracious,
awesome.
Mary. Thank you. So go check out her. I think her shop is down, but probably by the time we air this, it will hopefully be back up. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you all. You are sovereign, powerful, worthy, and loved. Thank you so much for being here till the end. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.